Hello everyone and welcome to Mossburn International Raceway for the 8th round of the International Racing League here at the round of Ontario. For starters, there has not been any major news items following the US 500. It's been a quiet week, which is something unusual. We usually have something to talk about. There are rumors that Brianna Thorne and Christopher Regazzoni will be looking for a new ride next year. I highly doubt that, at least for one driver. I believe the Thorne seat is safe, but Christopher Regazzoni, well, I don't know. Very big possibility that won't happen. Anyway, let's go on with the starting grid. On the pole for the round of Ontario is Brianna Thorne. The Thorne has a solid run in the US 500. She's looking to back that up with a win today. Then followed by her Stunod, who had a shot to win the US 500 before her teammate Devin Butler happened. Butler got a grid penalty for that. They had Bogart Daniel, who failed to qualify for the 500, and Edmund Berlin. Danny Marquez, another driver who failed to qualify for the 500. And James Cathcart. Pierre Lamont and Tessa Wolff a great qualifying effort. Something we never expected out of her. Then the points leader of Viola Ling, Nick Kay, making his first start. Would have started the S500, but he failed to qualify. Ryan Rexhaw had Sandra Hendricks in his pit box just in case he needed to step out during practice after his crash in the 500, but he's fine. Wesley Jewell, like the other TRD cars, failed to qualify. And Ivan Carson and Regazzoni. Regazzoni has had a off in final practice in turn 2, though he seems to be fine. It was kind of a big off by anyone's standards, so thankfully he's okay. Following him is Jake Bennett and Fred Jones. Bennett looking for a little bit more than that. Then Victoria Endinov and Nathan Ormond. Ormond and his teammate have been struggling all weekend. It's just kind of a surprise. And then Casper Ackerman now qualifies the Roy in-car of Rich Roy. Allison Holiday and Lou Grainer behind them. Weston Souza both failed for qualifying for the US 500. David Bison and Lou Hemmington making his debut. Aiden Jackson and Keaton Tannerhill. Matthew Evans had a mechanical problem during his qualifying lap. His car wouldn't get up to speed. And Devin Butler had a penalty. The reason why he's in last is because Raver, Masana, Courting, Roy, Arison, and Bart all didn't set qualifying times for one reason or another. So they will be starting at the back. Brianna Thorne leads the field to the green flag. Second pole for Ferrari. First for the season. That just shows how bad Ferrari been this season. Jesse Duck's a great start off the line. Entering turn 1 is clear. Knox is already cleared at 13. Daniels has already cleared the 63. And Danny Marco making a move on it's Edmund Berlin, but he's already been attacked by James Cathcart. But Team Rocket's Jesse Knox off to a great start already. And it looks like Marquez is still trying to fight James Cathcart at the back, and Pierre Lamont is trying to get past Viola Ling. In the back entering turn 4, now into turn 5, which is a double right-hander. 5 and 6, that is, double right-handers. It's just 5, excuse me. As Thorne gets a bit wide, coming into the Alex straightaway. Marco has gotten past the 63, and Bogart Daniels up to second. Marco now making a charge on the 13. Thorne's the reigning champion, has had a horrible season, crashes and misfortune. Danny Marco was leading the championship until last week, where he failed to qualify for the US 500, and he is wide in turn 2. No grip in the grass, which means you're on the tire wall, and that's Danny Marco's day done on lap 2. And Nate Ormond's joining him, and so is David Mason. So a lot of cars having issues in turn 2 early on. Devin Butler did set time qualifying, but was sent to the rear of the field due to his penalty he received at the US 500. Almost everyone around him, with the exception of Butler and Bison and Tannerhill, did not set time. Rich Roy, though, is climbing his way to the field. Lou Hemmington made a Formula X champion, 7-time Formula X champion, making his debut today. He's an independence trophy effort, and nice to have him on board. He's running in the Formula X race tomorrow, where he put the car on pole. Nick Kane would have qualified for the US, making his debut, almost qualified for the US 500, failed by about half a second, and, well, making his debut today in his home race. Bulgari Daniel is now chasing down Jesse Knox, and Knox is wide and wide again. So that 70 car definitely having some handling problems. Coming out of 10, Daniels is on the grass, get that car kicked sideways, takes a slip at the 70, I think that was more incidental. Brady Thorne has a run on the 75. She has caught up to both of them throughout their squabbling. Thorne's going to try to make a move on Daniels, but Daniels has a better run coming on the outside. Entering turns 2, now to Thorne's offline, onto the grass, she is wide, and into the wall goes to 13. And Brady Thorne, the reigning champion and pole sitter, day ends on lap 4 of 31. Viola Ling, last week's winner, the US 500 winner, now runs 5th. Tessa Wolff, 6th. Excuse me, Wolff's 5th. Ling's 4th. And that's about to be her to 5th because she threw that car way too wide. Wolff Daniels, and looks like Wesley Joel making a run on her. And Joel's alongside the 11. Wesley Joel has been nothing but a revelation this year. He has led laps, he almost led the points, he almost led the championship, and ever my son, I might need to worry a bit, because at this rate, it looks like this 4 car might be the 19 car next year, or this driver for. Laying down the inside of, or around the outside of Joel now, the turn changes. Jake Penn and Ivan Carstens have also caught up to this mess of the Toyota driver squabbling. I wonder if there's going to be any team orders to let the 11 go, but to be fair, Viola Ling almost has a race lead over the championship as Ryan Rickshaw, who goes off in turn 2. That's going to be a trouble corner all weekend, isn't it? Or all race, isn't it? Anyway, Everett Masano throws the car too wide into Lou Hemington, and off goes the 19. And that is 2nd place in the points out, which probably means Ling's going to have a full race lead over whoever next weekend, or next race. Richard making the move on Tim Courting. Roy's in 26th, and we expect him to go charging his way through the field. However, we've seen a more calm, cool, and calculated Troy as of late, but is kind of surprised, differs from his personality. But Richard making his way through the field. Devin Butler's exiting the pits after making an early pit stop, and he is right in front of Viola Ling. What is behind Ling? His teammate, Edmund Merland. So I wonder if Fred Walker's going to pull a bit of team strategy as someone's kicked up some dirt ahead. Devin Butler's not having the year he wanted. Inge Harrison is also clawing her way through the field. Harrison did not set time due to a turbo failure. She's making a move on Lou Grainer, and that messed that move up. She's wide into the tire wall, into that little wall there, back up the track and into Rich Roy, the 29. So both of them are off, and Rich Roy is thrilled about it. I think the 80 just spun out. Rich Roy, very frustrated at Inge Harrison for coming back on the racetrack, but he just did the same thing to Kyle West. I can't play Kyle West's radio chatter, too many expletives. Meanwhile, the 2 cars that were around the 33 and 29 when that happened, Lou Grainer and Casper Ackerman. Ackerman has announced that this year will be his last year in competition. Technically, last year was supposed to be, but his replacement, Nick Maz, got into trouble for rape. So he came back in. He and Lou Grainer are fighting over 19th. These two have had many battles throughout the years. I don't think Lou Grainer's quite done yet. There's a good chance he might be going to CART. There's also a good chance he might be staying here next year. Who knows? Side by side on the Alex straightaway for the 2 of them. Heading into turn 8. Technically, the Alex straightaway is turn 6 and 7, but no one really cares. Entering 8 and into 9, exiting 9 into 10. And Grainer a bit offline, and Ackerman takes the spot. Nice move made by the Dutchman. Anyway, Edmund Berlin still not get past this 11 car. They have caught Nate Orman, and Viola Ling has been screaming over her radio the past few laps to get blue flags for the 71. But the 71 just has the fastest lap of the race. She said it last time by, and he's making one run on Orman. These 2 lap cars are kind of causing a bit of a train. That is Bennett, Jewel, and Carson, and there's Viola Ling for you. the Greek woman not having a fun time behind the lap cars. Evan Berlin, I don't think can find a move. I think he's just waiting for a link to make a mistake. Rich Roy's now exiting the pits in that Batter 29 car, and he is, well, fuming, and he's, I think, just looking for the 33 at this point, but he's getting out of the way. Maybe a little too much. Actually, no, he's trying to fight Nate Orman, who he is racing for position. So, Ling wasn't happy now. Wonder how she'd be feeling now. Someone needs to get a bit of a move on because Joel, Carsons, and Bennett are looking a bit big in their mirrors. Don't think the lap cars care. Roy forces Armin out wide. Berlin sees an opportunity, dives on the inside of the 11 and takes the spot, and Viola Ling goes wide again. So I wonder if she's having issues braking. Tessa Wolf pitted during this squabble, which means green flag pit stops have started. Jesse Knox pits, Kyle West the lap down. I saw the 75 pitting. Chris Riccozoni took as going on one more lap, tries to pass 24, makes contact, and off goes to 55. So it's both Ferraris out due to over-exuberant moves. Pierre Lamont pits. He was running behind the 55, and well, no, he's not. As Jesse Knox, wow! If you're gonna be able to turn that hard, might as well take it out to dinner first. Bulger Daniels takes the lead. As you can see, running order on the top right-hand side. Nothing really much has changed. Nick Kane, I got run in the 6 car. Tessa Wolf, they flood the pit stop over there. Bogadero goes wide in turn 5 or 6 or whatever it's called, down into technically that's turn 5. Down the straightaway in 6 and 7, entering turn 8. Jesse Knox all over the Icelander's rear bumper, maybe a little contact. Icelander bumper. Coming down the main straightaway, it's still Bulgar Daniels up front. Though I think Jesse Knox might set him up into a move down into turn 2, maybe even 3. So no, not quite. Daniels just has enough momentum to keep him front, or keep her in front, or keep her behind. I can word. And I mentioned Bulgar Daniels is not Icelandic. That's her teammate. She's Norwegian. I know people. Jesse Knox, looking maybe trying to go around the outside. Maybe we can switch up, but she gets a bit in the gravel. Daniels, I think, overcompensated because he also she went wide, and Jesse Knox didn't point. So a good driving by the Team Rocket driver as Viola Ling continues to struggle with turn 5. She's off again over there, and Jake Bennett's going to have a run of a lifetime on her down the Alex straightaway. The Alex straightaway named after Carson Alex, the kart driver who I think has like 8 wins at this track, and from his time in kart and Formula X. Side by side now, the 5 and 11. These two are still even money championship favorites. I mean, the Ling's running away with the championship at this rate, but Bennett to 5th, excuse me. Car 5 and 5 in 5th spot. Nice when those anyways, Jesse Knox, same thing that Daniels did. Too much mirror driving from the leaders apparently, but Daniels can't get a run on the Daniels can't get around the 70 here. She peeks out a little bit, but Knox defending it brilliantly. But finally, Bulgar Daniels gonna have a run down the back straightaway into 8. She's got the fur line and gonna try to sleep around the inside. Now it's gonna be an outside turn. No, cannot clear the 70, but it's gonna be another right-hander that's gonna give Daniels the advantage. Side by side, still Knox led that lap. Butler and someone else is doing the pits. We don't care about that. Down to turn 1, Bulgar Daniels finally clears the Team Rocket car. That was great driving by both of them. Knox, though, gets putting her helmet down and gonna try to run after the Norwegian. Bulgar Daniels this is her 3rd season having a bit of an off year. Photo qualify for the US 500. Has had ruined her teammate a few times this year, and those two do not get along over at Scandinavia Sport. So it's I don't know. inter-team rivalry as the 70 makes turn 5 again. I think Doc's got that car sideways, but she's going to complete the pass this time over on the 75. Like we're mentioning though, some inner turmoil over there at Scandinavia Sport, but it looks like Daniels is putting the behind her. Nate Ormond is in he's a lap down, and a heap of cars. It's two independent trophy cars in front of him, of Hemington and Wolf. They're fighting over like 13th or something, and well, he's kind of jamming up the field a bit. Bulgar Daniel now trying to run down the 70 after he kind of threw away the race lead. A lot of mirror driving. We're about midway through the race, but there's a lot of mirror driving, which isn't something you see a lot of, especially here on a road course. And well, not to put on the dirt again, as Daniels is going to have a run around the outside. But as I was saying, mirror driving isn't something you really want to do on a road course because of, well, you see how many mistakes the 70-75 has made, as Daniels now are alongside the 70. Big run down the Alex straightaway. He's going to have the preferred line entering 8. And I'm not sure if you saw in the background, James Cathart is catching these two, probably because they've been side by side more often than not. Cathart a bit ahead entering 9, and is going to get the move done by the time they exit 10. So Bulgar Daniels back up front. Silly Souza in the rear of the field, and nothing really much of note, and she's gonna go off in turn 9 and into the wall, and that's day done. Victoria Antonov, I think, slid it, and no, that's a problem. Kyle West is in the background, which means pit stops. Wesley Jules the next car to pit, and so is Nate Orman, or that's Matthew Evans. A. Smithley will follow them. Then Cathart's gonna try to undercut the two leaders, who they're pitting now. Daniels pulled a bit of gap on the 70. So anyway, Victoria ended up, we saw her sliding around, her tires were gone, and now she's out of fuel. So ended up day. Wesley Joel has greatly outshined her, but she's also had a lot more mechanical problems than before. Anyway, Allison Holiday exiting the pits, cold tires, and off she goes, turn 2. Anyways, here's the running order on the top right hand side. James Cathart has gotten around Bulgar Daniels. Jesse Knox is a lap car in between the first and second, as actually Troy is trying to get out of the way. David Bison making a move, now looking to make a move on Ivan Carson, who had a horrible turn 5, and it was just the exit. He was slow getting in there. As down there straight away, Bison alongside the Russian entering turn 8. James Barth ahead of him, and I think Ivan Carson's really set his sights and try to run down the 17. Only problem is, well, you can't run down someone when you're under attack. Bison using as much racetrack as he can to get past the Russian. Carson doing the same to try to defend. I see similar situation we had with that's Aiden Jackson, I think Caitlin Tannerhill, but car 88. Bison to the point. Meanwhile, the 15 and 70 have finally cleared Rich Roy. Don't know why it took them that long. Rich Roy was going to make half the racetrack. He probably sent a semi-truck through half the time. But Team Rocket drivers are being a little bit more cautious than I think we would normally see them. I think Cathart at this point is just points racing. Helps on lanes, I think, outside the top 5 at this point. But it'd probably be helpful considering the points Leah Ling has if you're actually trying to run down the 75. Just saying. Because I think Bulgar Daniels has caught another lap car. I'm not sure who it is. It's a white car, and I think that is Antonov. I'm not sure. Yeah, it is. If Victoria ended up ahead of Daniels, but the Team Rocket cars hold station at the moment. Cathart is having a brilliant here so far. 2 wins earlier, and 2 wins at this point of the season. Grant Ling has 3, he throws it wide a bit. And here comes the 70, and Bulgar Daniels, I think, had a moment in turn 5, because she is well behind the 99, as Lamont making a move on Evans, who squabbles turn 5 up a bit. Turn 5 is an awkward set of corners. It's basically that double right-hander and left-hander, which catches a lot of people out, mainly because that first part of it is off camber. And if you mess that first part up, we're gonna mess the second part up, as Lamont alongside the Audi of Matthew Evans. Evans also had a great year when his car's been blowing up, or he's not making stupid mistakes. It looks like he's finally gotten his act together. Pierre Lamont, though, around the inside of the American and up into the top 10, or up into 9th. He's already top 10. You can see his team owners in the pits. Bogart Daniels is going to mess up turn 5, and yes, he's going to capitalize. Jesse Knox. Not many laps to go. I think we're at 2 to go as of right now. We're coming to the late flag lap, I believe, as Jesse Knox alongside the 75 down the Alex straightaway. They are catching Victoria Antonov, kind of. They've gapped Cathcart. So I wonder if Cathcart's either saving his stuff as he to do away. I think the 70 took a swipe at the 75. It's kind of been not actually unheard of for Jesse Knox to do. So no, we're coming to 2 laps to go now. My bad. Lou Grainer running 13th. Great run for the Acon A car. But that's going to go all up in smoke, quite literally. Lou Grainer out from 13th, and that's a shame, really. Lou Grainer's having a great day. You can see 2 laps to go. Nuts is pulled away from Mulgrew Daniels, but she's trying way too hard to get past Victoria Antonov, and does the same mistake she made earlier on the race. Way too hot in the brakes, way too wide. Mulgrew Daniels and James Cathcart, who's caught up to this battle. It just shows how fast the Team Rocket cars now are. They've caught up to Knox side by side down the Alex straightaway. Cathcart wants to make it 3 wide, but there's really not enough room. Now gonna go up to help us try to push his teammate past the 75, but nothing they can do. Not trying to fight everything she's worth. She's on the grass. She got that car out of shape. There's a car off ahead. That's Inge Eriksson. What is Eriksson doing? Oh my god, okay. Eriksson, I think, had a spin weight flag this around the late flag lap. 1 lap to go here for the round of Ontario. And it's Daniels versus Team Rocket. Coming down into the left-hander turn, left-hander turn 2. No one in the top 3 throws it off, which is, I guess, good. We already had someone in the podium position throw it off earlier today. Cathcart has a look on the inside, and they're side by side entering 4. Daniels is going to have the preferred line. Cathcart trying to use as much race as he can. He's going to send it up the inside. And Daniels gives him room, too much room, goes off. Tries to come back on the outside. Can't. James Cathcart to the lead. Now, the run to the finish. James Cathcart with a brilliant move entering in turn 5. That thing is gapping the 75. They've gapped the 75 a lot. Probably about 3 car lengths. There's 2 car lengths in between the between first and second, and Cathcart is pulling away. Entering the 2 corners, James Cathcart is only going to lead 1 lap, and it's going to be the most important one. James Cathcart is going to win the round of Ontario. Meanwhile, Inge Eriksson, here's what happened to her in the last lap. She did the same thing she did earlier on this race, just goes way too wide, kaplunk, get to slow down. Actually, no, she just sleds across the racetrack, and then for some reason tries to cut across the racetrack. Race control wanted to have a word with her about doing that. And the car she hit earlier, Rich Roy, well, picked up a puncture on the last lap. So Rich Roy's day not going too well, and he was 26th. He would not get the final point. Victoria Antonov got the final point, but James Cathcart, well, he led 1 lap. He didn't really dominate this race. The second and third weren't really, looked like they didn't really want to be there on the podium. Edmund Berlin, solid result, so did Oling. Joel and Bennett, really nothing much to say there. They had solid runs, and especially Joel. Nick Kane, top 10 on debut, can't complain. Evans, after starting 29th and not saying a tie, makes his way up to 9th. Shows what Rich Roy could have done if he didn't get bullied out of the way. Hemington, points on debut. A Smithley, a solid run from her. She's needed one of those, honestly. Fred Jones, Tessa Wolff, good runs for both of them, especially Tessa Wolff. Rayburn Jackson. Rayburn, after missing the Indy 5 or US 500 and his ride being online, probably needs to do better. James Barton, Epic Carson, the other 2 independents, doing great. Caitlin Tannerhill continues her streak of when finishing. She scores points. And we're looking at the top 25. Yeah, Viola Lang has a maximum points you can get in a race is 65. She has 67 over today's race winner. As you can see, Marco continues to fall through the points, and so does Rich Roy. The next time the series will be in action will be in the round of Quebec at Coca-Cola Super Speedway. We hope to catch you next time.